Hello everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video, and today, because the championships at Wimbledon just started, I'm recording this on Monday, July 3rd, I thought it'd be a good time to kind of look at the All England Tennis Club in London, specifically in Wimbledon, and to check out the grounds, take a look at all the stadiums and all the courts that are found at the All England Tennis Club in Wimbledon. So let's get started. On the Wimbledon grounds, there are 18 championship grass courts, along with 20 grass practice courts and 8 American clay courts. And apart from the grass courts, which are prepared in April and last until the fall, the hard courts are used year-round by club members. In terms of maintaining the grass at Wimbledon, during the championships of Wimbledon, the grass is cut to 8 millimeters and it is mowed every day. And they take serious care of the grounds during the championships as they want to reduce players from slipping and they want to create an even level playing surface where the ball bounces in a correct way. At Wimbledon, the courts are numbered and the lower numbers are mostly the best and most prestigious arenas. This is a nice overhead shot of the entire Wimbledon grounds. This is an older photo because the donut-shaped arena, which is court number 1, that actually doesn't have a roof in this photo, but I believe as of 2019, it did install a retractable roof, just like center court as shown here. But this is the entire grounds from an aerial view. It's all kind of compressed into a pretty small space. This is another aerial shot, and this shows more of the northern part of the campus. The biggest arena right there, that is center court, and then you have court number 1, which is the donut shape. That's towards the north, and then north of court number 1 you have all the practice courts. You can kind of see them in this shot at the top right, and then you have a few courts in between court number 1 and center court, and then you have a bunch of smaller courts behind center court. And this is another aerial view, this time with court number 1 featuring the retractable roof. And to me, it's just a really pretty design for a tennis grounds. And then you have the hills on the side where all the spectators can watch. I'm sure there's a big jumbotron to watch all of the games there. But you could see on all the courts, they're all pretty weathered at the baselines. You could see the discoloration there, but just a really pretty scene. And in general, these two arenas are really well built up and very impressive. So these are the practice courts. I could not get a really good image of the practice courts, but this is the only one I found. It's just a few grass courts, and they're not really separated by any barriers or anything. It's just continuous grass courts. Still looks pretty nice. Of course, it's Wimbledon. They're going to maintain them very well. And then this next one is actually court number 19, which was removed due to a renovation for court number 1. And this one was a very unique court because it's kind of right beside court number 1 there. That building is actually court number 1. So it is situated literally right next to it, and they replaced it, I believe, with a food pavilion and just a general area for spectators. So this court number 19 doesn't actually exist right now. And so here's court number 18, and court number 18 is kind of to the west of court number 1, and it's kind of nestled into a kind of nestled into the corner of the grounds, and that's why it's got this weird configuration with the stands. You got this building on the side. I'm not sure what it is, but fans can go on top of the building and watch the match. You can see the VIP section on the right side of this photo. Looks pretty good, very exclusive for sure. I'd love to sit down there. That would be a great place to watch a tennis match. And then in this photo you can see more of the grandstands, and it's one of the more unique tennis courts at Wimbledon just because of its weird configuration with the different stands on each side. I love the VIP sections as well. It looks very exclusive and it looks like a very nice place to watch a game. It looks like you're very close to the players on the court, which is very nice. And so now we'll get to courts 17 to 14, and these are the 4 courts that are right in between center court and court number 1. You can see court number 1 at the bottom and then center court at the top. And these 4 courts are very interesting because they incorporate elements of the buildings as their backdrops, which is pretty unique. So to start off, we have court number 17. Again, it's a pretty basic court. The background over there, that is center court, and it looks really nice. This is obviously not a great camera angle, but This one shows a little bit more of the seating. It's very minimal, of course, but still a nice kind of VIP section. This backdrop isn't the greatest. We'll see a little bit better backdrops as we go on, but it's still a nice court. But then again, you do get those shadows. You could see the shadows playing against one of the players going for an overhead. So you could see the shadows can get tough for these next few courts. This is court number 16, and this is a pretty nondescript image of the court. This one is a little bit better. You can see the actual center court in the background right there. This one's really nice. I love the ivy on center court. You could see that very clearly. I like how the ivy does change color over there on the side. Overall, pretty nice court at court number 16. And then right beside it, you got court number 15, another pretty nice backdrop. But again, it's not very interesting, at least in this photo, but it's pretty much the same thing as the other one. Minimal seating, but still a nice close perspective you get to see the players, so pretty cool. And then the last one, we got court number 14. Again, minimal seating. I believe there's a little bit more in this court compared to the other ones, but still a nice backdrop there of court number 1. And that is a renovated court number 1 right there, just because you'd see the wood siding of court number 1. Pretty cool in general. And then you could also see center court to the very right of this shot. In general, I like these 4 courts just because they have such a unique atmosphere. They're nestled in between 2 major courts at Wimbledon. So this is a really interesting place to watch a game and also to play a game. And you also have to deal with those shadows later in the day and early in the morning. All right, so now we're kind of transitioning to the south side of the complex. And this is south of center court. You can see center court right there with that beautiful ivy on the side. And court number 12 is a larger court. It does have a little bit of a grandstand to its south and west sides, and you'd see all these people crammed right in there. It seems very nice. You got a nice VIP section over on the right side here. So it's pretty exclusive to sit there, but in general, in this grandstand, I don't know if it's the best place to watch a tennis match, but you do get a nice view of center court, which is really nice. Also, notice how we skipped court number 13. There's actually no court 13 at Wimbledon, which is kind of funny. It's the unlucky number, so I guess they didn't want to include it. But here is courts number 11 to 4. And these ones are just really basic. They're basically carbon copies of each other, so I'm not really going to get into it. They all share a backdrop of center court, but that's really all that's interesting in these courts. And again, this is a Google Earth aerial shot of the entire facility. And you can see all these 8 courts right here. They're very basic and very minimal, but a nice backdrop of center court right there. And we do have a couple more major courts to get into, so let's get right into that. And now this is court number 3. This one's situated kind of right beside that gaggle of 8 courts. And this one's nice because it's actually fully enclosed, so it feels more like an arena. I do like that a little bit more, although you don't really get much of a VIP experience with this one. All the seats look like they're basically the same, which is a little bit unfortunate for those VIP sections. This is a more in-depth shot of an actual game inside the arena. And it's a pretty small arena, so you don't get that big noise that you would normally get at those big show courts. But again, I like the fully enclosed design of this one. It's pretty basic. It seats probably about 5,000, maybe even less than that. And this is court number 2. So court number 2 is pretty similar to court number 3. I believe it's just a little bit bigger. But court number 2, again, it's not very unique. It's not very interesting, but I do like the closed arena design. It makes for a better atmosphere for sure, and better environment for the actual players. All right, so now we're going to get into the main 2 courts at Wimbledon, and these ones are really marvelously built. I really like the siding of court number 1. I know it's a donut shape and it's got a really big footprint, but in my opinion, that's really its only flaw. I like the roof design. It's very minimalistic, and you could tell it does its job. It's on a track, and it's just there to prevent rain, which is fantastic. And this right here is a rendering of court number 1. before its renovation, and it just looks really good. Obviously, the renderings are always going to be more interesting and more well done than the actual renovation, just because you could do whatever you want in these renderings, but either way, it looks really good and super modern. I like the natural wood tones in this rendering, and this is what it looks like in real life, and it looks pretty similar, except doesn't have all the greenery to it, but the earth tones look really good in this one, and I do like the wood siding and the glass kind of railing. It looks really modern, super nice outside of court number one. And this is the inside of court number one, and this is so unique for a tennis arena. The low ceiling right there, this provides a pretty solid atmosphere to the arena. I bet when this place is rocking, you could probably feel the sound really reverberating, but this is an incredible shot. It's a panorama, looks super, super cool to be up there. But for court number one, it's a very old and traditional design. It's basically like an oval, it's a circle, it's very uniform, but I just like its uniqueness. I like how you have that VIP section at the bottom. And this is court number one in a full capacity match. Seems like it would be an absolute treat to get the opportunity to play here and to watch a match at this arena. It looks super good. Alright, now let's move on to center court. So this is the exterior of center court and it looks super nice. I love that ivy and I like the clock on top of the entire building. It just looks so cool. It's like a blend of modern with old. The facade of this building is just super nice all around. You could see in this photo, this is from one of the courts, but this is just super nice. You got a nice like restaurant thing there. It's probably a really exclusive club. Super, super impressive and really a nice backdrop to the entire grounds. And this is another older aerial shot. You can see center court illuminated a little bit with that new roof, and then court number one without the roof. So it's a little bit older. But again, even back then, it still looked really good. The facade holding up super nice, and it just looks like a really classic tennis facility. At center court, the capacity is really big. It's about 15,000. And of course, you got the royal box right there. You need the royal box at center court. And it's a pretty large seating map. Obviously, section 200 is pretty huge, but it extends all the way to have a section 500. So that just tells you all you need to know about the magnitude of this building, even though it does have a smaller footprint. And this is the interior of center court, and it looks very similar to court number one, but just with a few minor differences. It's a little bit more rectangular than court number one, but still equally as impressive. You can see they do dim the lights near the top, which does create a really cool effect for the spectators and for the players, just because you can't even see to the top of the arena, which is pretty cool. And of course, center court does look the nicest. It's the best presented court at Wimbledon, and it has the best VIP seats. And this is the empty interior of center court with the roof on. So the good thing about Wimbledon is that the roof doesn't inhibit any of the natural light. It basically looks like there's no roof in center court, which is really awesome, letting in all the natural light it can. And you got the dimmed lights, which is again a really cool effect. And then you got that royal box colored in oak and dark green back there. That looks really cool, super exclusive. And then you got the VIP sections. I see a few boxes down below, but then you got that 100 level. Looks really nice. You get very close to the action right there. It looks like they're renovating the wall on the back side. And what's great about Wimbledon overall is that it looks really modern, but it also does a really good job at retaining the classic look, and it almost feels like you're kind of traveling back in time at these arenas. And that's what makes Wimbledon very unique as a tennis tournament compared to all the other tournaments. And this is center court again with all the crowd making a lot of noise. I really enjoyed exploring the grounds of the All England Lawn Tennis Club. I hope you guys enjoyed this video just as much as I did. Leave a comment down below which one is your favorite court. I would say my favorite is going to be center court, but I do love court number 1 too. For my most underrated court, I'd have to say court number 18. It's just so unique and each stand is different. So that's it for this video. Please drop a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.